welcome to this stream, I guess. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of you watching this, but I'm making this in large part as a response to the Deep Listens community. I plan to be making a fantasy critic league, and I guess the first thing first is this is fantasycritic.games. And using this program, you'll be able to participate in basically what are fantasy drafts, but now with video games. If you're confused or concerned about this, I really recommend that you check out How to Play as well as their FAQ. It's basically going to break down into 1, 2, 3, 4 phases here. We have to have someone in your community or you yourself create a league. And I'll show you kind of how that's going to work and my thought process with a handful of categories that I am in control of. Then you need to plan and pick a date for your draft. Then you need to actually draft things out. Then after the draft is complete, most fantasy critic drafts, the way that they work is they will not fill up all of the slots on your thing or your basically game publisher, which I'll show you what that looks like. And you'll have to use your pot of money to fill the rest in. The FAQ is pretty good in terms of answering some of the big questions here. I do want to point out, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner of the portal, it has a link to their Discord, which has a really helpful FAQ section, as well as their Patreon if you feel inspired to give this website some money. I'll show you one of the benefits that you get if you are trying to, have some fun with this thing and you end up thinking, I'll chip in a couple of bucks. There are different ways in which you do drafting, and I guess that's the big one right here. It's going to do the snake-like format where whoever goes first, then second, third, and then let's say fourth. Then whoever goes fourth goes first with the next phase, and then it goes kind of like that. So there's a level of fairness with that. We are probably on the Deep Listens community going to have anywhere between 10 to 12 people participate, which is exciting. That is just enough for me to justify not doing 2 divisions, but I'll go ahead and show you how things are working out with the Giant Bomb Discord. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in Conference 1. And then if you check the Giant Bomb Discord community, you'll see that we have 3 conferences. So we have 3 conferences, DMX, Goomba, and Pogi people. So with 12 people, I'm going to make the executive decision and say we don't need conferences and split things into 2 groups of 6. There will be winners, there will be losers. I would say that 12 is kind of pushing it. Once you get to 14, you should probably just create 2 different conferences or leagues, 7 on one side and 7 on the other side, unless that's just how you want to work. Over here with popular public leagues, we can actually see the different ways and different formats that people are going to go through. So this is my league that I am a part of, other than the one that I plan to run. You can kind of see that we've already done our draft. We have new gaming franchises here. We have regular game slots as well as our counter picks, and I hope to maybe go over some of that information in a little bit. This is a fun one. So right here we have our good our host of our league, Nick Kroll, and you can see right here they get a couple of benefits in terms of they get a logo, they get to make a company slogan, they get a couple of little weird repackaging things. So me, I'm Big Bill's House of Nasties. I don't really get any of that stuff because I haven't donated money to the Patreon page, but you get that if you do donate to the Patreon. So I'm going to open up a couple of other leagues here. I'm going to open up the Giant Bomb one as well as the Kind of Funny one. Over here we can see the games that are coming out. So for our league, we're targeting about not this coming weekend, the 4th-ish, or actually no, I should say the 1st and the 2nd. We're going to target the weekend after that, which is the 8th. Which means, if you check out down here, we're going to probably miss Kingdom Come Deliverance. We're going to miss a handful of major releases, but we'll hopefully narrowly avoid the missing the release of Avowed and some other big February things. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Luchadeer tab here. And I'm going to show you the different formats and styles of games. So as you can kind of see here, in fact, maybe it would be easier if I just picked my team right here. So as you can kind of see here, they have a bit of a more stricter. So the Luchadeer League with the Giant Bomb Discord has a bit of a stricter format in terms of games that you're expected to draft. So I have 3 slots for new gaming franchises, and this would be games. I'm required to draft 3 games that are completely new IPs, new standalone games. They are not sequels. They can exist in an IP, but only if the IP has never been represented in a previous video games. So, feels like GTA 6 has to go number 1. It has, but it's also been a very common counter pick. So for me, these are the regular games because they're either derivatives or they are in different categories. If I want, I think I could actually put Avowed in my new gaming franchise. Oh, actually, no, I can't. It's a new game, but it's set in a different franchise. So technically, Avowed has to go into a regular slot because of that. Yeah, yes, Avowed would be counted as a sequel, though it itself is not a direct follow-up of another game. It's considered new game, but it's considered a sequel as it's set in a different universe. And these are actually some pretty good examples here. So right here it says Red Dead Redemption 2. It really should say Red Dead Redemption 1 because Red Dead Redemption 1, though very unique compared to Red Dead Revolver, and they don't even share the same name, it would still be considered a new game, but not a sequel. But you can see I also have Claire Obscure Expedition 33. So this is the format that I'm thinking about. I'm more open-minded to what Kind of Funny has done, which is no categories at all. 0 categories. So as you can see here, Kind of Funny is basically saying you just got to draft your games. And I'm going to probably do 10. If we follow the format of the league here, you would have to pick 3 new games, or there's a wildcard category that I could use if I wanted to. Or we could just go free, like completely no categories. I think it's actually kind of interesting for you to do some research and not just draft the games that you think are good and you're forced to kind of like interact with a little bit of grit. And I can also tell that Kind of Funny seems to have reset their draft to where they've already started bidding on games. And then you can check out the Giant Bomb Staff League. They also seem to have embraced Kind of Funny's. This is, I would say, the more typical format, which is no categories, don't worry about it, just draft and buy, use your budget. But notice here, I'm going to stand by both the Giant Bomb Discord and the Giant Bomb Staff Fantasy Critic, and I'm going to force us to do 2 counter picks, with you only being able to draft 1 counter pick during the draft, and then you also have to be aware of other people. So I'll just kind of go back to mine here. So it says right here, it even warns you, warning, if I don't actually go out of my way to counter pick a game, it's going to be logged as a -15. Now for me, I counter picked on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because I think that game is going to be reviewed poorly. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game. I just think that the reviews will be reflective of the general sentiment that reviewers had of the first game. Whether you think that is a safe or a bad bet, it's up to you to decide, but that's kind of the fun here. If you're unsure about how to make your wish list, I would probably look at this part right here where it says trending. Like, what are people buying? What are people doing? So you can see here, one of the most bidded games is Ninja Gaiden 4, which means that people were not drafting Ninja Gaiden 4. It was not on their wish list, but now they are spending money to get it. And we're going to have a budget of $100. So in order to fill up your slots to avoid you getting straight zeros, and again, -14 points if you don't draft anything, or -15 points if you don't draft anything, you will get -15 points. So you're going to have to bid on games and be aware of what people are buying for. All right, so let's look at where I am in terms of our league. So This part is the easy part. We're just gonna call it the Deep Listens Fantasy League. Just keep it simple, keep it straightforward. We're obviously not going to do a previous fantasy league. We are going to set this for 2025. I am going to force everyone to draft 10 games total. We are going to do standard mode. I would say that one-shot mode is just kind of lame. It's just not fun. We're going to go with standard. Again, this is the total games that actually, no, this is total players. So I'm going to put 12 here because we've had some recent things. But again, we're not locked to this number. And it's going to say that I want 10 games. No. So let me remind myself, looking at my publisher, we drafted 5 games. I'm going to say we should draft 5 games. I do think we should draft 5 games. Counter picks are an essential part of the game. I'm going to force us to do 2, and we're only going to draft 1. Again, that means that you have to be aware of the games that people are bidding on after the draft, or you can just look at the field after the draft is done and see if anyone has made any questionable draft picks. The minimum amount to bid is going to be $1. I would just say this as a precaution. This is just my precaution. Every single league that I've been a part of when it comes to Fantasy Critic, they draft or they bid a lot of money at the start, then things completely fall apart in the middle, and then there's a mad rush at the end. We have some options in terms of our bidding format. We can do secret bidding. We can do public bidding. We can do public bidding except secret bidding for counter picks. We're going to set this to secret bidding. That basically means that this is a blind auction. You're going to bid on games. And let's say right here. So like I said, my team or my publisher right here, I need to fill things out with my new game franchise slots as well as my regular slots here. So I need to be aware of what am I going to fill these empty blanks with. So I'm going to go back to the league. I'm going to make a bid. I'm going to either show my watch list or show this week's bids. I can see what people are bidding on. I can see a hype factor, which basically is it's a crowdsourced system. And I'm really excited about Urban Myth Disillusion Center. I played it during Next Fest. I really want to play that. So I would select that game, and then it would just remind me what is my total budget right now. Everyone's going to start with $100, and I'm going to put an amount here, whether it's $12 or $15. Okay? Now, conditional drop, if you're concerned that you just don't have anything or you realize you're starting to have regrets with the games that you did draft, you're going to get this pull-down menu. Now, this pull-down menu is not going to allow you to drop games. Let's just say I'm suddenly having concerns about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I saw a preview before the game's released. I feel like I want to drop that for this. Now, the good thing about this is that it's only going to populate games in the same category. So that's cool. Maybe I read a preview and it turns out Claire Obscure is just not looking good. So I can actually swap this for my other NGF or my new gaming franchise area. Or if I already have the slot, I can click None. Now, you cannot just bid on a game. And if the game that you've already had in, let's say, where was my thing? I'll just go here and back to my publisher. Let's say that, for me, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam comes out and it gets completely destroyed in the reviews. It's not a good game. It's got all of those terrible matchstick puzzles and everybody hates it. I can't replace this game that I've now bidded on, Urban Myth Disillusion Center, with that, unless it's still not come out yet. You can only really drop games by using bids. This conditional drop thing is only going to allow you to populate with games that have not yet come out. So We will talk about what we can do with drops and what my rules are going to be with dropping games that you've maybe drafted and you have regrets. All right. So, trades. I'm going to go with standard trading. I'm going to allow it. I will warn you. I have been doing Fantasy Critic for now 3 years now. I have not seen a successful trade in all 3 years. I have seen an attempted trade, but that trade did not work through. Trades are complicated, so I'm going to just show you this. So, you actually have to, like, send money to them. So how about I send $10? I'm going to give them money. I'm going to put in a game, and then I'm going to ask for one of their games here. And let's say I sweeten the deal, $35. Most people really don't. It's really going to be hard for them to give up a game that they've drafted unless they really have regrets. Trades are a part of the game. You're more than welcome to do them. I just think that it is a complicated, needlessly fussy system, and it's not always super easy to do that stuff. So I'm open to it. I'm open-minded to it. I just don't think that this is going to be easy. I'm going to make it as an option, but I'm not just going to... I'm just going to expect that most people don't use this system. But I don't really see a reason to get rid of it. All right. Now, herein comes the big controversial thing, our game dropping settings. So, I do not believe in giving you all unlimited drops. I don't even believe in this default setting, which is, it turns out that a game that you drafted or bidded on gets a sudden unexpected delay and it's no longer going to release. So here's what I'm going to do. If a game will release, you get it to drop it once. One. You get one. You get one. If it turns out that a game you drafted or spent money on just suddenly gets delayed to 2026, you get to drop those games twice. Just 2 times. I am not going to enable super drops, which are basically you get a wild card to drop whatever you want. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. So as you can see right here, it even explains what the different types of drops are. So we can use the any unreleased setting, which applies to any and all unreleased games, delayed or not, and I can set that to unlimited. I just think that people gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. And honestly, I just don't have the patience for super drops. I can reset this or change things. I don't believe in doing this setting where it says you can only drafted games are allowed to be dropped. I think that games that you bid on are important. I also don't believe in this one. I think that people should be allowed to drop their counter picks if they qualify. So here are the tags. I'm going to go with default tags, but we're not going to worry about most of these. We're just going to worry about new gaming franchises, and we're only going to worry about regular games. I'm not going to allow you to do early access only games. No partial remakes, no ports. And if it is a remaster, it's fine if it's an actual, like, full-on reimagining, or, like, in this case, like, I'm not going to block you from doing Resident Evil 2 Remake or Final Fantasy 7 Remake, but none of this, like, Final Fantasy 8 to remaster, which wasn't even a remaster. I'm not going to allow you to do Final Fantasy 14. The expansion packs would count, but I'm not going to allow you to do, like, MMORPGs. Okay. Now, I don't think most people would want to draft Madden or Football Manager or F1. All right, so here's the controversial part. This is the thing that I talked about where I was wondering what I want to do. I also don't want to do an expansion pack, and I'm going to give an extra slot there. You have to draft new games. 3 new, just new games, okay? That part, totally feel confident about. I really was wondering, should we have a special slot for remakes, reimaginings, and stuff? Like, remakes seem to be all the goddamn thing. So partial remake would be planned for... I'm not going to do ports, because that just opens the floodgate in terms of the games that are going to start populating our... I'm going to... Maybe it would be better to just get rid of this. Just make it go away. No unannounced games. No, we're not going to do unannounced games. We're not going to do ports. All right. So I kind of like this, but I don't. And now this, in all of these settings, can be changed later. So that's the important thing. So if any of you have concerns about this, I'm all ears. We're not going to have you research virtual reality games, but if you feel confident that a virtual reality game is going to be good and it's going to review well, go with God. Ugh, this is the part where I feel less confident about. Like, making you guys draft a remake. You know what? Let's just cut it out. Let's cut it out and do basically what the Giant Bomb Discord is doing here. So basically, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regular games of any category that qualify, and 3 new gaming franchise picks with 2 counter picks. I'm going to do that, and if we want to delegate the possibility of things changing, or how we have ideas about how to make this a little bit more, let's say, interesting, I'm also open to that as well. I'm going to hit the create button. I should actually hit blank here, and for anyone that's watching this, that might...
Hello there.
Hi.
I have recovered about 80% from the horrible whatever the hell it is I have had.
All right, so...
I know you explained that you were doing something here, but I have no idea what the heck it is you guys are doing here.
Oh, I'm just explaining how Fantasy Critic works, and like the settings that I just did.
All right, well then I came at the perfect time.
So, I just created the league. So, if I could, you can be my test subject.
What does that mean?
Can you create an account?
Sure. How do I do this? What do you need? Is there a thing I need to click?
No, I'm about to post the invite link in our Discord. All right. Let me go ahead and create my publisher, and I'm going to go with the same name as I did before. I'm going to go with Big Bill's House of Nasties.
Is that like a Bill's Mafia reference?
Big Bill's House
it's Bill as in person,
of
not
Video Nasties. Create publisher. This here is not active yet. You need to have at least 2 players in the league. You must set the draft order. Okay, I'm going to set the draft order later. Okay, yep. So that looks good. Okay. Let me go ahead and make the announcement. League has been created. join. So, Canada Land person, do you have any questions about how this works and or how things are going with fantasy leagues?
I mean, I have no idea how this works
Yeah, it's gonna
at
be
all.
fine. You're not gonna die because again, the reward is nothing.
Wonderful. That's
Again,
the reward I'm used to getting.
so again, I'll just show you where I'm at with the Giant Bomb Fantasy League. So what's basically going to happen is it looks like I'm not going to do that reimagining remaster idea. So you're going to draft 7 regular games of a variety of no special requirements, as long as it's not like some sort of early access bullshit or thing that's like Final Fantasy 14 where no MMORPGs. If it's a regular ass game that comes out, new release in 2025, not a lot of thought process there. You can put it in that slot. However, I'm going to force you to draft 3 games that are completely new franchises, games that just aren't based off of they aren't a sequel. Okay, they
Are
can
these
exist in an
existing
IP,
or
but
are they
only if
games
that
that are
IP has
coming out?
never previously existed as a video game. So here are the examples here. Like Elden Ring would be considered a new gaming franchise slot pick in the year that it came out. And then you're going to have to worry about counter picks. And here's the deal with counter picks. So what's going to happen is we're going to do a draft. And then during the draft, you're going to need to do a counter pick. And again, you're going to look at a list of games that your other teammates or the other people in our league have drafted, and you're going to need to click the game that you think is either not going to come out or it's going to tank in reviews. So a popular topic was Assassin's Creed Shadows, Fable, Grand Theft Auto 6, Silk Song. I would say Silk Song's probably the best bet in that situation. And I picked Kingdom
It's like
Come
the Duke
Deliverance 2.
Nukem Forever of
Yeah,
this generation.
I picked Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because I don't think that game's going to
Is
review well.
Half-Life 3 on this list, or are they smart enough to not put that there?
So the only way you can do a counter pick is if another person in our league has drafted it or is bidding on it and has it in
Okay,
their
so
rotation.
if someone bids on Half-Life 3, I could say Half-Life 3 is not coming out.
Yes, you could immediately bid for that. But I think that you wouldn't be the only person. So I'll actually do something here. Here are my current bids. So right
I
now
mean, I don't think anyone's going to pick
I
Half-Life 3.
have a $20 bid for Death Stranding 2 as a counter pick. Cuz I'm making the prediction that that game's going to review exactly the same that the first game did. That's my prediction. So I'm putting in 20 bucks. And then I'm spending $10 on Urban Myth Disillusion Center, and I'm spending $10 on Fatal Fury. So that comes to 20, 30, 45. So that's almost half my budget in week 1. So someone picked Death Stranding 2. I think that's a little sus. So I'm now going to put in a pretty big bid for that to be my counter pick. And you can actually see people who counter picked. Now, here's the thing that I need everyone to do. I need everyone in our league to make a watch list, which basically means, similar to what we did for a fantasy pick, is you need to create an ordered list of games that you think are in the order of thing. Funny fact, no one drafted Borderlands 4 because everyone said they were going to counterpick it. So, Atom Fall, Fatal Fury, Skate Story. Like, you need to create, like, an actual watch list. And then, if you know that you're not going to be here when we do the draft on... Let me just look at my calendar here. I think I said not this weekend, but the weekend after. Yeah. I'm going to ask that you all do that. So, that's basically it.
Oh, I see. Publisher is your team name.
Yeah, that's just your team name.
All right. Well, I don't feel like changing it.
All right. So, any other questions? Because I think that this is something that I'm going to publish this video, make this visible.
I mean, I still don't understand what this is. What this is? Is this basically just a list of games that are supposed to come out over the
Mm-hmm.
next certain
Yeah.
amount of months, and then you
Yeah.
need
These are
to,
games that are supposed to come out in 2025.
and then you're betting on review scores?
You're betting on review scores and the system
And is
that
it
they
just
use.
counting Metacritic, or is it counting like
No,
an aggregate
it's
between
it's
like?
an aggregate that they have. It actually. So where is that question? Scoring. How does scoring work? They use Open Critic.
So Open Critic.
Mm-hmm.
Does Open Critic take into account user reviews?
No.
Okay,
So
that's important to know because I'll tell you this right now.
let's open up Open Critic's reviews right here. So
Yeah.
right now, right
Well, I
there.
mean, I'll give you a bit of a an
Oh yeah,
insight.
yeah.
So
Then
something like
everything
Assassin's
that's
Creed
yeah.
Shadows, I guarantee you would have a very poor user review because people are chuds on the internet,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So like that would help tank that score regardless of whether or not it reviews well. It could also review poorly too, but it like we all know what the user reviews of that game are going to be
I
when it
would just
comes out.
say, just be aware that some games don't get enough reviews to pop a score even on Metacritic. So be mindful of that. I'll just say this.
So what if the game doesn't even get a score? What if like people don't care about it enough to even get that, have that
That is
happen?
an inherent risk that you are taking with the games that you either draft and bid on, and you would get an automatic minus 15 to your total score.
Okay, so like
Or
you
actually,
could
it would
bet
be a
big on like
zero.
an indie, but it might be an indie game that no one cares about and
Yeah,
no one
it
even
says
bothers
right here,
reviewing.
for example, obscure indie games, games that might have been in early access for a long time, free to play games, and free DLC. Uh, that's the risk you take for picking that. All right. I'm free to make a house rule, but I honestly think you made your bed, now lie in it. So if I counterpick a game that doesn't come out, both players get 0 points. This is actually considered a good result because most people are drafting good games. So
I'm looking at OpenCritic, and the second highest rated game is something called Tsukehime. I
yep,
now am
yep.
regretting all my decisions.
No, it's the fighting game. It's the visual novel that Fate's Stay Night is based off of. It's actually really good. It's
Okay,
like one of the most important things in the visual novel franchise. So
is
yeah,
it
just keep it.
pornography?
It used to, and then but they
It
only
used
were.
to be.
Well, so there was an eroge version. Obviously, that eroge version's not
So the
coming
answer
out.
is yes. The
Yeah,
answer
there
is
is a
yes.
porn version of it, but it's not that big of a deal. Jesus Christ, people! All anime games. Okay, so did you join?
Listen, I am Mr.
Yay!
Perfect. It's cool.
So once we get everyone in, I can now set the draft order. It's not going to be I'm first, Jeff is second, you're third. Yeah, I think this is actually probably a good format. I think I might not follow through with my threat of forcing people to do a slot for remakes and reimaginings. They can just go in the regular slot then.
God, are that many remakes really even
You see,
slated for
if it
this
was
year?
last year, absolutely, but I'm starting to reconsider that. All right, so I think that's good. A 30-minute quick little tutorial. That seems fine.
Like I feel like people would just be rushing to pick like, oh, you got to pick Trails or like
Mm-hmm.
the other one.
No,
But
sequels can just go in regular slots.
no, I mean for like
Oh,
remakes.
right. Yeah, there's just not enough actual big games that are worth doing that as a lull, honestly. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, but that's my little quick thing. Um, it basically the way if you've played a fantasy league, you're fine. It's just now you have to worry about review scores for video games.
Oh, so I got to be like a game developer. And go,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, oh no, my job is in jeopardy.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Don't put your real names on this thing, please. Okay. Thank the Lord. Yeah,
Who
you
would
only
put
get
their real name?
$70 because of the exchange rate, Jatsu. I'm sorry, I don't make the
I'm
rules.
sorry, what?
Also, you owe me 25% now of all your monies.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just turn off your electricity
Okay,
and
cool.
your water supply.
Wait, I need your tar sands.
No, you don't need my tar sands as much as you need my fresh water. So,
Ah, shit. What about that lumber?
you got plenty of lumber.
Yeah, we can work with Brazil on that one. Oh, shit. All
No,
right,
you don't
guys.
necessarily want to work with Brazil on that one. You
All
know what
right,
they're gonna do.
everybody. So I think that's good. I'll put this up. But yeah, this is going to be a fun little experiment. I think that we have a good group here. All right. All right. Bye, everybody.